Hey everyone! Today I'm going to tell you the real story of how I finally got serious about English. Grab your chai, get comfortable. This one changed my life. And yes, it started with a very embarrassing Zoom interview. When I was a child, I went to school like every other kid. In school, we had English classes. The teacher wrote words on the blackboard and we repeated after her. Apple, book, cats, dog. That was easy, but I never really spoke English outside the classroom. At home, we spoke Urdu. With friends, we spoke Urdu or Punjabi. English felt like something only for exams. In college, things were the same. I studied computer science. All my books were in English, but I read them with a dictionary. I could understand a little, but I was afraid to speak. What if I made mistakes? What if people laughed at me? So I stayed quiet. I watched English movies with Urdu subtitles. I listened to English songs, but I sang the parts I knew. I thought, one day I will be good at English, but that day never came, until it did. Then one normal day changed everything. It was a hot afternoon in summer, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I was 22 or 23 years old. I had just finished my degree and I was looking for a job. I saw an advertisement online. English-speaking customer support job, good salary, work from home. I liked the idea. Work from home, no traffic in Islamabad. I applied quickly. They called me for an interview. The interview was on Zoom. I was very nervous. I wore my best shirt and sat in front of my laptop. The manager was a nice lady from Lahore, but she spoke only in English, no Urdu. She asked, "Tell me about yourself." I started, "My name is Ashfaque. I live in Islamabad. I finished my degree in computer science." Then she asked more questions. "Why do you want this job? What are your strengths? Can you handle angry customers?" I tried to answer, but my words were slow. I mixed up sentences. I said, "I am good in computer" instead of "I am good with computers." I said, "I like help people" instead of "I like to help people." She was patient, but I could see it in her face. She wasn't sure about me. At the end, she said, "Thank you, Ashfaque. We will contact you if you are selected." I knew I was not selected. I felt very sad. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat on my bed and thought a lot. Why was I so bad at speaking English? I knew many words. I could read news in English sometimes, but when I opened my mouth, everything disappeared. I felt small and weak. Then I remembered something my father always said. If you want to change your life, you must change yourself first. I decided right there at 2 a.m., no more excuses. I'm going to speak English every single day. I'm done being afraid. That was the moment everything changed. The next morning, I made a plan. A simple plan, but strong. First, I started speaking to myself every day, in the mirror. I said, "Good morning, Ashfaque. How are you today?" At first, it felt strange, but I continued. I described my room. "This is my bed. It is blue. This is my table. My laptop is here." I talked about my breakfast. "I am eating paratha and chai. It is very tasty." Second, I changed my phone and laptop language to English. Everything. Notifications, settings, keyboard. At first, it was hard. I made many mistakes, but slowly I got better. I stopped translating everything in my head. Third, I watched YouTube videos in English without subtitles. I started with easy channels, stories for kids, simple conversations. Then I moved to vlogs, travel videos, and people talking about daily life. When I didn't understand a word, I paused, looked it up, and repeated the sentence. Fourth, I found a language partner. I joined an app called Tandem. I talked to people from America, England, India, everywhere. The first calls were scary. My voice shook, but they were kind. They said, "It's okay to make mistakes. We all learn." One girl from Canada became my friend. We talked every week. She corrected me gently. Fifth, I read books for beginners, simple stories. I read one chapter every night. I spoke the sentences out loud. I even recorded myself reading and listened later. I heard my mistakes and tried to fix them. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. I saw small changes. I could now order food in English when I went to a cafe. I could chat with my cousins who lived abroad. I felt more confident. Then came the big test. One day I saw another job advertisement. This time it was for a better company, international company, better salary, full English environment. I applied again. This time the interview was longer, 2 rounds, first with HR, then with the team leader. In the first round, the lady asked many questions. I answered slowly but clearly. I'm hardworking, I learn fast, I want to grow in this company. She smiled. In the second round, the team leader asked technical questions. I explained my projects in English. I used words like teamwork, problem solving, communication skills. I made a few small mistakes, but I didn't stop. I said, "Sorry, let me say it again," and I repeated correctly. After the interview, I waited nervously. 2 days later, I got an email. "Congratulations, you are selected." I jumped with joy. I called my mother and told her everything. She was so proud. She said, "See, hard work pays off." Now I work in that job. Every day I speak English for 8 hours. Sometimes customers are angry, sometimes they're nice. I help them solve problems. I talk to my team in meetings. I even give presentations sometimes. My English isn't perfect yet, but it's much better. People understand me. I understand them. I feel free. Looking back, that bad interview was a gift. It pushed me to change. If I did not fail that day, maybe I would still be quiet and afraid. So, my friends, if you're learning English and you feel stuck, remember my story. Start small. Speak every day, even to yourself. Make mistakes. They're okay. Keep going. One day you'll look back and say, "Wow, I did it." Thank you for listening to my story. If you liked it, please like, comment, and share. Tell me in the comments, what is your biggest challenge with English? I will reply everyone. And if you want, I can tell more stories like this. See you in the next video. Bye.